Hey everyone, Paul here. Good to see you. We hope you are doing really well at home. As you can see, I am here in the youth room. It's a little sad without other people in it, but it reminds me of all the fun that we've had here too. So it's kind of cool to hang out here once in a while. We are going to be adding something to our SOAR experience during this quarantine. We're going to be adding something called SOAR Stories, and this will be a weekly video with kind of a lesson or a reflection in it. And our SOAR leaders will be taking turns and doing these lessons. They'll include some kind of stories from our own lives, some Bible passages, lessons that go with that, and then also we'll have a challenge each week for you. And then when we get together on Wednesday nights on our Zoom calls, we'll have a chance to talk about how did those challenges go, what did you think of the things that were talked about in the lesson, that kind of thing. So this is the very first one today, and we are talking about, it's called a lack of judgment. We're talking about judgment and judging, and the reason is that I've been at home, I've been a little bored, nowhere to go, not much to do, and so I found myself looking through my high school yearbook the other day. This is from 1999. That's the year I graduated, and thought maybe you'd like to see my picture. There I am in the middle. Hopefully that's showing up. And then somewhere on that very same page was my high school girlfriend, but I'm not going to tell you who it was. So as I was looking through my yearbook, I was kind of remembering, like seeing all these people that I used to know but hadn't thought about in years, and kind of remembering how, I was a person who had friends who were a part of who were a part of lots of different groups within the school. So I didn't just have like my little clique, but I was noticing that there were still groups of people that I just didn't like to hang around, and I was kind of judgmental towards. The boys hockey team, I thought they were a bunch of jerks. Their lockers were right next to ours. I was on the cross-country ski team. Their lockers were the smelliest things I have ever experienced. And a couple of them weren't real nice, and so I just kind of thought that the whole entire team, just people I didn't want to have anything to do with. I didn't hang out too much with the goth kids, the gangster kids, obviously, that kind of thing. But high school is an interesting time. It's pretty easy to be judgmental in high school. I know it was for me. People really judge you a lot on who you hang out with, who you're dating, what groups you're a part of, what you're wearing, how you act, and it can be a little frustrating. It can be hard to deal with. But another thing I've noticed lately is that it's not just high school. This kind of judgmentalism, it happens throughout life. It happens when you're an adult too. And one thing that kind of got me going, and I realized, oh man, I'm being really judgmental right now, is I've been watching these videos of the protesters, the people that are gathering together in public spaces in these huge groups and getting close together, not wearing their masks, and they're protesting the whole stay-at-home quarantine thing. And that has really bothered me. I want you to watch this clip, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it.
With Wisconsin's Safer at Home order extended to May 26th, these protesters say they've had enough with the limits on business, gatherings, and our daily lives. They want Governor Tony Evers to reopen rural parts of the state now and get people back to work.
We need to get our economy back in line, and we can certainly do it on a cautious basis.
You quarantine the people that are sick. You don't limit everybody's freedoms.
Along Blue Mound Road outside Brookfield Square, passing cars honk their horns in support.
So I don't know how watching that made you feel. It makes me feel pretty frustrated. My initial response is what is wrong with these people? Don't they understand that we need to make some sacrifices now so people don't die? This is pretty important. I also understand, yeah, it's frustrating. It can be difficult, and I might be in a better situation than others. I haven't lost my job. My family situation is pretty good at home, and so I get the frustration, but I found myself really being judgmental about these people, and that made me think of a passage in the Bible. It's in the book of Matthew, chapter 7, and Jesus is in the middle of his most famous sermon called the Sermon on the Mount. So basically a whole bunch of people were gathered around, and he started teaching them some of the most important things that he ever taught.
Do not judge, or you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, "Let me take the speck out of your eye," when all the time there is a plank in your own eye? You hypocrites. First take the plank out of your own eye, then you will see clearly.
Now, the way that I had heard this in the past, it made me think that Jesus is saying, like, well, don't forget how bad you are, too. Like, you do some pretty awful stuff. And so it made me think, like, okay, yep, I shouldn't judge them because I'm also bad. But I don't necessarily think that's what Jesus is trying to get at in this passage. I don't think Jesus is saying that if I just sinned less, then it's okay for me to judge other people. I think Jesus is saying that the log, this big log that's in my eye, I think he's saying that judgment is that log. The fact that I'm judging people, that is the bad part. That is the problem that I have. Instead, I think what Jesus is saying is that he's reminding us that we're all made in God's image. Yes, we all mess up, but we're all in this together, too. Something really helpful that a person once told me was that when they find themselves judging someone, they try to think about that person's life and putting themselves in that other person's shoes. They think about, if I lived that person's life, if I was born into that family with their parents and all their experiences and all their DNA and just the way that they are designed, if I had their exact same experience, can I honestly say that I would do anything differently? Like, do I really think that there's something that's so special about me that if I had all their same experiences and their same life, that I would be so much better than them? And when I think about it that way, it makes me realize, no, we're all the product of our genetics and our experiences and the lives that we live. And I think if I put myself in someone else's shoes, I probably would be acting the same way. And so that has helped me to just have more compassion for people. So I want you to be thinking this week as you're at home, maybe getting out into the community once in a while, even just watching TV shows. If you find yourself getting judgmental towards someone, I want you to do two things. The first thing that I want you to do is I want you to think about what my friend told me. I want you to think, if I were in that person's situation and lived their life, could I honestly say that I would do anything differently? Probably not. And then the second thing I want you to do is I want you to ask God for something. I want you to ask God to help you see that person the way that God sees them. Because God sees each one of us with complete and total love and compassion and understanding. And so I want you to ask God to help you see the person the same way that God does too. And I think when you do that, you're going to experience more compassion and understanding for them also. So that's what we've got for today. I want to finish with a blessing for you. And then I want you this week to be thinking about these things and working on that challenge, and then we'll talk some more about it on Wednesday. So, may God give you compassion and understanding for all the people that you come across this week. And may you see others as God sees them, full of grace and forgiveness. All right, have a great week, everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye.